Before the world we know today, Ranginui, the Sky Father, and Papatūānuku, the Earth Mother, were joined in a long, loving embrace. Together, they had many children, kept safe and warm in the darkness between the parents' bodies. One of their children, Uipoto, noticed a glimpse of light between his parents' embrace. He shared this discovery with his siblings, and Tāne ventured out to explore. Tāne found a beautiful, light and expansive space. He found himself amongst colours and brightness, the likes of which he had never experienced. Simultaneously, it was cold, harsh, and frightening. Overwhelmed, Tāne returned to the warmth and safety of his parents. After hearing of the light and freedom Tāne had experienced, the children began to feel smothered and crushed between their parents. This began discussions as to how all of the siblings could experience what Tāne had. As with all families, there are many different perspectives. This led to verbal and physical disagreements. But the majority agreed that the parents should be separated so that the children could begin to truly flourish. Many of the children tried unsuccessfully to separate their parents, but finally Tāne made his attempt. With all of his strength, Tāne pushed Ranginui upwards and away from Papatūānuku. This created a slight gap, but alas, it was not enough to completely separate the parents as they grasped at each other with their hands. Seeing Tāne struggle, his brother, Tū Mātauranga, took up his two sacred axes. As Tū Mātauranga cut in his parents' hands, they could no longer cling to one another. This enabled Tāne to fully extend his legs skyward. Rich red blood flowed from where the parents were cut, running deep into the earth and rising into the sky. In this combined effort from Tāne and Tū Mātauranga, the parents are finally separated. As they fell away from each other, light spilled into the world. Papatūānuku became the earth, and Ranginui became the sky. The children of Ranginui and Papatūānuku spread out across this newly formed Te Ao Tūroa, becoming the atua of their own domains. Only Raumoku remained in the womb of Papatūānuku. Although the separation meant freedom for some, it meant loneliness for others. Even today, Papatūānuku sighs at dawn. The mists rise, carrying her love and yearning for Ranginui. Returning the gesture, Ranginui sends his tears downward, yearning to be reunited with his love. Thus, the world as we know it was formed, and the atua set about creating all of the flora, fauna, and humans within it. The following contemporary stories utilise the preceding pūrākau and Te Whare Tapa Wha to understand key facets of health. The complex interplay between these different areas influence health and well-being, with imbalances leading to illness and disharmony. These can in turn affect individual and community Māori and mana. I have a really sacred name, Ruaumoko, chosen for me by my father, Rangi. However, Koro doesn't like the use of that name for me. He says it's a tūpuna name, a name with mana. It must be used in its entirety, mindfully and respectfully. And I'm not quite there yet, so instead they call me Māori Whakatipu, because Koro says I am the cherished life force of our family, and sometimes a little bit naughty. We used to live with Koro, near my kinsmen, Tawhiri, Tū and Tāne, but there was too much fighting. Mum was sad all of the time and cried a lot. When she got like that, we called it living under the maunga. I love our new place because it's close to the bush and there's always heaps of things to do. I've built a feeding station for native birds and we go bird watching. I've been tramping too. The first time my feet really hurt, but hey, aha. Mum says all this activity means I'm getting healthy, and she thinks it's much better than sitting in front of a laptop all day. Mum's new boyfriend Nico is fantastic. He's really into mountain biking, and he takes Mum to something called forest bathing. I had to ask him what that was. It sounded weird that people were swimming in the forest because there's no river or lake. So how do they do that? Nico says a group of them follow the walking tracks up to the top of Titirangi Maunga and play games. Sometimes they meditate, sing waiata or say karakia. Nico says it helps Mum's wairua move from living under the maunga to living under the stars, ngā whetū. Mum says that living under ngā whetū is expansive, animated and hopeful. She says that it's calm, but most importantly it's balanced, like the four sides of a house. Nan was recently diagnosed with dementia. She's been feeling frustrated, angry and isolated. Her role within her family and community has been reduced, placing her in a state of mauri rere. Nan's whānau are working to support her to spend more time in the community kai garden, which is always full of family and friends. In the garden, Nan is always happy. She holds great mana in her community for her gardening knowledge. Under the watchful eye of it all, she feels a sense of connection and purpose. Nan may struggle to remember recent things, but she clearly remembers the techniques taught to her by her koro when she was a child. Nan's mana is protected and her mauri is lifted as she passes down these tōnga tuku iho to her mokopuna and the other tamariki, teaching them not only gardening, but their roles and responsibilities to each other and to the whenua. Nan loves to see the joy on the faces of the tamariki when they harvest the fruits of their labour. The thought of these children growing up to share this knowledge with future generations gives Nan a sense of peace. This process is enabled by and further strengthens interpersonal connections in te taha whānau. But this activity also assists in strengthening the mind through learning, the body through nutrition and physical activity, and the spirit through connection to atua, Papatūānuku and wider te Ao Tūroa. Ngāti tū mātauranga work as a large family, fitting together to look after one another and communities in need. Service personnel must maintain certain levels of fitness to allow for rapid deployment, at home or abroad, for warfare, natural disaster relief and many other reasons. We must be conditioned to enable us to carry out required tasks. Like tāne and tū mātauranga during the physical separation of their parents, we must train our bodies to be strong and prepared. Outside of this setting, we should be able to complete activities of daily life, such as carrying groceries or playing with our children without excessive fatigue. Preparing your body for what it needs to do and pushing boundaries that you set for yourself can impact on other areas of your health. COVID lockdowns have shown us the benefit of movement and how we feel when such opportunities are lacking. As a corporal, I am required to watch over the health of those below me in rank, and this goes beyond the physical. Similar to the children of Ranginui and Papatūānuku as they discuss their diverse points of view on the separation of their parents, I have to be an ear to listen to a service person who is feeling down. This unbiased kōrero enables the service person to work through their thoughts and situations, while I'm there to supportively guide the conversation. This is needed both inside and outside of the military. Communication and socialization are important in daily life, significant life choices, health and mauri. Those around you can help you reach decisions or offer you advice. Nia has struggled with anxiety since she was a little girl. Recently, things have become really tough and she's finding it hard to leave the safety of her home. When she does go out, she has panic attacks. Nia has found it difficult to reach out for help because it's hard to explain a problem that even she doesn't understand. The pūrākau of Ranginui and Papatūānuku helps her to communicate the way she feels to others, and it gives her hope. Nia explains that she feels like there's a battle going on inside of her head, much like the conflict between Ranginui and Papatūānuku's children regarding their separation. On one hand, she feels lonely and isolated, and is eager to go out of her home so that she can see her friends and do the things that she enjoys. On the other hand, she's extremely fearful of the panic attacks that may occur if she does, and therefore wants to stay where she feels safe. Nia thinks about the strength of Tāne, not just physically, but emotionally too. She thinks about how Tāne decided to separate his parents so that he and his siblings could live freely in the beauty of the outside, despite understanding that it may come with harshness and fear. As Nia sits under the tree in her backyard, she feels the bravery of Tāne. She wants to use that bravery to leave her home and experience opportunities and joy. She understands that this will lift her mauri, even though it may be hard and scary.